You all have to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the January 2023 Tabletop Conversation.
For the long spoon.
Can you believe it's 2023?
And just remind us all
Where'd
to
that come
talk
from?
louder.
Oh, yeah, talking louder. So, welcome. We are here
As a family.
And community to talk about this month and what's on the long spoon and how we can survive. Oh, I'm Robert, by the way.
I'm Suzanne.
I'm Sandra.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Suzanne.
And here we are.
We're all here in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice and tucked in.
And we've just gone through the long spoon together, so that we have a kind of a grasp of the vast nature of it this month,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and
There's
how
a lot
that.
on it.
Looking forward to what to look forward to.
Yes,
Mhm.
and to talk about how do you turn your nose into yeses,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you create nestial space.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Moving
Yeah.
a no into a yes, and the nestial space is referencing to the pocket full of questions to meditate on.
Yeah.
To get
Anybody
yourself-
want to start? Anybody anything to say?
Well, I definitely feel like the two themes are absolutely perfect
Yeah.
for this month, and the whole idea of a pocket full of questions to meditate upon. I think whenever you enter a new year, but I think the five of us especially are feeling like it's a big year of questions to meditate upon. So the fact that there's a pocketed space that we have created and are continuing to create so that we can find a place to explore the questions that are coming, so that we have a safe place, a protected place to be able to meditate upon those questions and see what they have to give us. And it feels like January, just even Mama Gaia creates that space for us to support that.
Especially in Maine.
That's right. And so I'm grateful for that. And I think there is a lot of reclamation coming in this new year, and a lot of answers that are coming our way, and I'm looking forward to them.
Oh, that's lovely.
I think it's exciting that there's going to be so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it's not going to be a year of standing still or not having a place to meditate on or to fill your pockets with. It's going to be lots of questions, and therefore there's going to be lots of answers, and we're here to receive every one of them.
Yeah, the more willing you are to have answers, the more willing you are to have questions.
Ask the questions.
We're going to have very full pockets, for sure.
And I think that moving no into yes is like life changing. When you start to notice all the areas that you've inadvertently said no to or had resistance to, and all of a sudden it's like getting a squared perspective and realizing, oh my gosh, I'm really searching for yeses, and you start reaching for yeses and it changes everything. So
It really
it's
does.
really exciting to have a new year, a new month, new perspectives.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really true. It's like we feel the world is full of no's right now, and I think that we're shifting to tend to the yeses. You know, lots of times yeses are just like blistered away.
It's true.
One person
don't
said
have-
no, and you focus on them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way it is about yourself. You get one big no about yourself, and then you spend the whole day with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Oh, that's a
visiting
good
it,
point.
having
Yep.
tea with it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a
I
really
love
hamburger,
that.
isn't it?
I think that's exactly right. The world, we're kind of trained to give attention to the no's, and the yeses don't get any attention. And I think as we start choosing in every moment to start tending to the yeses and give them our focus, give them our attention, they actually will multiply.
Yeah.
Or we take the yeses and attach a doubt to them.
Yeah.
Well,
along
that's
the way.
true. That's
You
true.
know, and this is
And the yeses are not bowing down to someone else, it's standing up to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the, you know, the no's are, you know, they hammer you in the head and down into the ground, and we feel like that's a really big, meaty, juicy hamburger. You know, we can chew on that for weeks. You know, and the like you say, the yeses just slide. They're like sliders. They just slide through. And
You're making me hungry.
I know.
My stomach's growling just thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, do you remember when you were a little kid and you lost a tooth when you were a little kid?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and what the tongue does?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Constantly worries over that
Yes.
space, forgetting all the other teeth that are there.
I know.
You know,
That's
they don't
right.
mean anything. They don't
You're
count
right.
for anything. It's just that
Yep.
missing thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's like worry. You know,
Yeah.
you
Wow.
just goes to it over and over and over again until you're exhausted from it,
Yes.
forgetting all that you do have. So it's a matter of, and not an easy thing to do as children or adults, is to shift the focus to the yes, to
We-
what is there, what is, you know, a
You know what I
potential.
think would be wonderful to meditate upon with this whole thing with the yeses is this mandala piece
yeah.
that we have.
You'll see the
Um,
mandala here.
Mhm.
It's above.
To
where
me,
you
it
were
seems
listening
like
now.
it's like the tongue
Mhm.
meditating on yes instead
Oh,
of
isn't that so cool?
the emptiness.
That is really
Look at all those eggs in there. It's
Yeah,
really wonderful.
and then this was
All
with
the
the
houses.
when the
Yeah, the
Tibetan
houses.
monks were here, and this
Mm-hmm.
is Lhasa, and the houses around the pattern. So that's nestial. There's
Mm-hmm.
there are the eggs in the nest. You know,
Yeah.
the potential, the possibility, and it's endless because there's an infinity there in the center.
Yes.
So it's
and they
just,
brought that to our world
and they brought it to
Yeah.
our world
here
Yep.
in Camden,
Yeah,
Maine.
and that's something.
Well, we're now in Rockland, but
Yeah.
still.
You know, there's a part later in the Long Spoon where you all talk about the imprintio patterns, these kind of paintings, the
Uh-huh.
collages. They all create a shield to
Oh.
that we can gather ourselves, the fibers of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
behind and into. And as you're bringing forward this particular image to focus on, I'm just realizing that throughout this long spoon and throughout all of the long spoons and even the whole website is provided all of these images and patterns that we can shield ourselves with and gather ourselves back into where we've been told no or where we felt pounded into the ground, like you said, by the no's. And even if we just meditate on any of these images at any given time, I mean, I know for myself, I can feel myself suddenly just feeling shielded, swaddled, and just be able to go inside and gather those fibers of myself
Oh.
again
Mm-hmm.
that I know are the actual truth.
That's so
And,
beautiful.
So I'm
Yeah,
really
thank
grateful
you.
that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
too. We're all needing that very
Uh-huh.
much. As soon as I get up, I'm going to go and put some things in my pockets and my pocketbook, which I never carry anymore. But I at least could put the pocketbook from the bedroom to the dining room as if I am going somewhere.
I love that.
And put some magical things that I just want to look at and feel. The nestialness is really intensively here in our home. We create it everywhere. We're like, it's like every part in the world has a potentiality of becoming a nest. And you'd think we were all feathered beings when we go outside, because we create so many of these places. If you saw any of our rooms, they are just like the most wonderful nestial spaces, and they're magical worlds all lit up with little lights, and like Christina has a little nestial place for her music, and Suzanne has a little nestial place that she curls up and does her yoga, and they do their reading and sharing and watching their favorite films. And Sandra has her room all nestial with her dolls over on the sides and
Everywhere.
everywhere. She has her bed turned in just the right direction, and then she has her favorite seat
teacup.
that she and now
I have a place for my teacup, and I'm having my tea out of my glass teapot instead of a mug. So I'm moving out of mugs and into fine, what is it?
bowed china.
Oh, China.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from England.
Yes.
It's just lovely.
You made the
I wanted to
most
say
of that.
something too about the shield.
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as Suzanne brought that up, this little thought came in. Well, what are you shielding yourself from? And what we're doing is saying a shield is an ornament.
Oh.
It's a breastplate. It's an ornament.
Oh, it's very then Valkyrie.
It's very Valkyrie,
Ooh,
and it's
nice.
not
Oh.
something to say that, you know, that negative thought that ran through. me.
Oh God, that's
But
beautiful.
I mean, these are ornaments. They're
They are. I you know when I had gotten all three of y'all these little teacup sets.
Yeah.
Oh, I threw at the Goodwill, but they were so beautiful.
they are.
And I thought, you know, we have all kinds of cups and things, but to have one that is really special and kind of magical in your room is so nestial.
It is.
And it was so fun to get them for you. And it wasn't expensive, but it was, you know, the expense of it was time.
time.
Taking the time and then going inside of the time to feel what would match your needs in time. And that takes time, you know, and that's the greatest gift we can give each other. And tea is all about time.
Yeah.
Oh, I
so cool.
love that. Oh
It's all about
gosh.
Susanna's world and everything.
And the nestialness is like in the dining room. We have on the walls our a lot of our children's books that we just love and games and things. And then we've had to make more room as we bought things from the storage unit back. And we had 4 tables that we ate on. We used to, and they became other things. But it was so weird that in that room, I saw over by the window. I saw taking the small bookcase we had and angling it so that it made a little corner space for me. And in that corner space, somehow, it's got a language for me that gives me permission. And I never had permission to sit and read as a child. Even as a teenager, it was like, you know, get up and get outside or get your chores done. It somehow made my mom uneasy. And then I was uneasy, and I've always had a hard time reading because I've always felt it's like it's hard to bring myself there and be okay with it. And somehow this little corner, I am nestled back in it, and I'm right at the window, and I have my altar there, and have all these little books, and this big chair, and I get in it, and it's like I stepped into the cockpit of travel. And then Robert, we have a little round table that he pushes into that little space, and then we are like cuddled up together in
Right
that.
across
And
the
then
table
we
from
can
each
talk
other.
about a lot of things that we can't really talk about out in the open room when there's no one here even. So nestial space is a specific thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
It is its own animal.
Wow.
It's worth the time. Do you all think?
Oh,
Absolutely.
You even talked about it in your Alchemical Mind this morning about your favorite
Oh.
chair.
Oh, did I? I forgot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
that's true. Where are we, Robert? How many minutes?
We are halfway through. 13,
Oh, good.
13 minutes
We
in.
got more time. So, anything else that you all want to elaborate on within this month?
Well, I was thinking about the pocket and like when you find things to put in your pocket. It's kind of interesting how you can leave crumbs for yourself.
Oh, like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah. And not necessarily food crumbs, but like sometimes I'll find things that I hadn't thought about putting in my pocket for a while, and then as the day goes on, you know, you play with it, you toss it about in your pocket, and it's almost like it generates new questions
Ooh.
inside your pocket, and you weren't really thinking about it, you know, or all of a sudden you think of it in a new or different way, and I'm really looking forward to exploring that more this month, and because I love to put things in my pocket, and
Uh-huh.
and sometimes it's like all of a sudden, you could almost like oracle to yourself with the things that you put in your pocket.
Ooh.
It is a good idea.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think that that's like, and I just love, like, I randomly, this summer, I found, when we were redoing outside the boardwalk, I
Mhm.
found a plastic oar that was just it was like a toy oar. It was just this little paddle, and it was so funny because I had lost my real paddle in real life,
Mhm.
the kayak
Uh-huh.
paddle,
Mhm.
but I found that paddle, and I kept that in my pocket,
Oh.
and it was like, so somewhere I found a new paddle. And then I actually ended up getting a real paddle in real life, but it was like I had to find the magic of that magic paddle before I had to get and like replace it in real life, and it was just so it was such an adventure, like to find just different things like that, and
Well, like
and,
getting back into the
little
longing
toys.
of water.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Then you can
Mhm.
get out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's really true. So it's kind of, so I'm just excited about
I
that.
love that.
I
It
love
reminded me too of when it's so funny that you just said about the oracling to yourself, because that has always been, that whole concept has become one of the most magical things to me,
Mhm.
because like you've mentioned, we've all talked about how our house, it's so full of so many things that you can oracle to yourself in any moment. But I also was realizing that oracling to yourself is paying attention to something, because you can walk by a million things in this house, in your room, and all the things that you've kind of gathered, put away, or just have tucked away or tucked around, that you picked up at some point and claimed them, that you wanted them in your space, but then you forget about them. And then, but when you oracle to yourself, it's actually the process of paying attention to something. It's like deciding in a moment to pay attention to an object, a so-called object, or something in your environment that you weren't tending to, or hadn't noticed, or weren't giving any focus or attention to, and you just let it suddenly come forward and light up for yourself, so that you could see what it had to give, or has to give to you in that moment. And it may take you back to reminding you of when you picked it up in the first place, or when you decided to put it in
Yeah,
a
why
certain
did you put
place,
it in
or
there?
why did I do that?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's this pocket full of magic in that moment of actually, and to me that is what oracling to yourself is finding a pocket of magic and insight, that but realizing that it all has to do with attention to.
That
And
is
I
most
love that.
wonderful.
Mhm.
God, I love that perspective. And the pocket being magic. I mean,
Yeah.
we did one year, we did a workshop where we took all of these things, had big baskets full of just those odd things around the
Yeah.
house. And then everybody took a bunch and they built like this background and scenes. And the scenes, then they take a picture of it, and then they change it and put other things in and take a picture of it. And what we were intending to do was to oracle to ourselves the year.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah,
and
that's
so
fabulous.
yes, and from all the different scenes, we could then copy them, the photographs, and then cut them out, and they would each one be an oracle a month for us. And that was one of the most powerful things.
It was.
I
It
think
truly
whether we
was.
made them or not, we worked with a whole year in our hands that day.
Photographs of 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I remember that Andrea had done one with it was kind of like Snow White's house and a different. It was very fairy tale, and the witch and or Baba Yaga outside the window, and it was interesting. There was these two girls in it. Well, it wasn't too long until the next month, she had taken on two young women as residents that needed help. One had a child and one didn't, and they were kind of partners. and they had to work through a lot during while she was there. But it was in her calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All the pictures about
Before
it.
she knew.
Oh,
Yeah,
my gosh.
that she already knew.
That's
So
really cool.
our systems. I mean, I've learned this so much in Touch for not Touch for Health, but kinesiology
Mm-hmm.
from Charlotte, is that our bodies know a lot of the future, and I don't know. It amazed me, and that our bodies do have the ability to have a pocket of magic for us, and we could put different things together intuitively and create like a pocket, and that we could oracle to ourselves. And what she told me is that I was like almost, I don't know, I felt like I was almost 60, and I was still having periods, and I thought, my God, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna be an old lady. And so I asked her if she could tell when my body was going to be done. And it was like in October or something. And she said she checked through, and it was February. She checked through my body.
Yeah.
Well, when we got to February, I stopped.
You did.
And the body knew it. And that to me made me know that we have the answers in our very flesh. We have the answers in our DNA. We could be scared, but we also could assist ourselves to be ready, to tend to. That this year is about not so much, it's tending to our answers, tending to the answers we're getting.
Yes.
And so our body, if we allow our body a voice, it will tend to us. And if we find a system that gives it a voice in the simplest of ways, we can really tend to a lot of decisions, a lot of things. And what I found was that's why I think I got so loving oracles, is I know the body knows how to feel what system will speak to us.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest, greatest thing I've loved is the fact that when I do collages, if I set it into that tone, and I've just started that this year, is the collage, I let it talk. I put the things all together, and I'm intentioning a certain tone in the collage, certain clarity of beingness and respect for it. And then in it is I put the collage together, and then I sit, and immediately I hear the words. And it's a relationship that's taken me many, many years to develop, but it's something, somehow in my own quirky way, I have that kind of gift. And I remember that when I first started doing collages, that Joyce Tennyson had come to the show, and it was she and her insistence that made available to us to be able to make books and have the ways and means to do that. And it was immensity of help. And she did a lot to make sure that happened. But when I started doing the collages after we did the books, she said, I can't get over that. She said, you know how to do these. She said, I had no idea. She said, they're awesome. And it really was just really recognizing that I had a gift with image and words. But I hadn't ever brought the words to them. I brought them by putting a collage image on one side and the book words on the other. But I had never taken on the direct words in the collage image. And I started doing that this year. And I realized there's such a war between image and the word that people couldn't even respond to it. And I just had to let go of that. I'm at the point now that is almost saying, please don't respond. Because it's like I'm no longer, I want to be in the space where I'm not looking for response. I am tending to the work.
Yes.
And not tend to me, but I am tending to the work. So get to the point where I'm not waiting for it to tend to me, to tend to that was really wonderful. But to be sure and make myself listen so I tend to the work, and then I know I got
And
it
you
right.
received.
And that's that whole oracling, that we have such a gift of the future within the present.
Wow.
I like that. This is a good
Well
conversation.
said.
Good tabletop conversation.
Well, I know we all have found that in our work
Yeah,
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great.
So as we move down to the long spoon, you're going to see the calendar for this year is reclamation. So this year of 2023 is going to be a big one about that, about reclaiming your voice, your own space and time,
Making the nose yeses,
making the nose yeses.
strapping up.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, we have strap up for the Valkyrie here on the long spoon for this month. And we have Return of the Avatars on this month, and we have Susanna's World Within, the first book of that series, on this month.
So quite a powerful
So you're going to really have a
thing with
nice
changing
dive into
the nose to yeses.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have a holographic imprint pattern there,
That's a beautiful.
and Dreamtime Oracles are on the long spoon,
Yeah.
and then we can the pocket.
I love everybody, what everybody
Great
said about
collages.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Lined up.
And the Daisy and the Hawk, the Dreamtime oracles that you guys posted,
Mm-hmm.
that is no small thing. When you see something that talks about Daisy and Hawk, make sure you sit with that a little bit, because there's a lot of depth to that and resilience with Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, I'm really looking forward to connecting more with those two things, and it's huge
Mhm.
concepts and huge support. So just, I mean, everything that you all have included, there is something so intentional about every single piece of it. So
Go back to the
Oh.
daisy, and I'll show you something.
Okay.
Since Christina brought that up so beautifully,
Mm-hmm.
is if you notice the daisy and the hawk,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
daisy looks like
Oh, wow.
a Valkyrie
Yeah.
shield,
Yes.
Mhm.
oh yeah,
that breastplate,
oh,
Mhm.
wow.
and so does the
Never
hawk.
noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And
There.
and I know that Daisy is our granddaughter Lily. She is kind of she's very Valkyrie, and she is she's not always easy because she's having to learn how to strap up her boots.
Yeah.
She's having to learn how do you work with power in a male world.
Yes.
And but Daisy was her flower.
Yes.
It's the one that she had chosen, and it's very appropriate. And like that's like a Valkyrie breastplate,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love
Yeah.
that.
and
Growing
that you
in all
pointed that out,
conditions.
Christina.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
Christina's
if Fine
her
Art
mentor.
America will start doing plates
I think
of
it's,
armor, so we can start we can start putting images on.
I think it's a very good
that
idea.
would be so cool.
Well, and Christina's she's a mentor
Mm-hmm.
to Lily because of the working with the energy of power and the energy of Valkyrie.
Guardian.
Oh, you
The
reminded me
guardianship.
when you said that we're coming close to the end of the half hour, but you reminded me when you said that Fine Art America does have these images. So if you like any of those images right there, I'll post on here, or you can go to clarity.pixels.com and you can go over to our Fine Art America site, and those images are available on all kinds of things that you want to put them
Well, especially
That's
I'm excited about
on.
is they're available as puzzles.
Uh-huh.
I am a
Yeah.
lover of puzzles, but puzzles are great for children.
Mhm.
So if you find one of the children's the Dreamtime images
Mhm.
that your child needs or somebody's grandchild or whatever, you can get it as a puzzle.
Yeah.
And the whole
so
thing
cool.
of putting it together, they enter it.
Oh, it's
So like
perfect.
Daisy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like a breastplate puzzle
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
thought of that.
that a child could enter
Mhm.
the courage that Daisy is. So
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
It
That's so
sure
cool.
is. And you know, one of the greatest gifts about the whole Dreamtime, when you first did it, and all the images that are in it, all the parts of the world of Gaia, and the plant world, and the animal world, and Mother Earth, and Father Sky, and all of those, is you brought the whole concept, the whole idea that you can just call those totems to yourself at any time. If you're drawn to a certain one, or you pick one, or Daisy is speaking to you this month, you don't have to have just a real Daisy in front of you. You can just ask for the essence of Daisy to be with you that day, or in whatever you're moving. And then even better, or another way to do it is to find things that have daisies on them, or this image, to bring it to you and have it close to you. And if you want it on a coffee mug, so that as you drink every day, you're reminding yourself of it and calling to yourself the essence of Daisy or Hawk. Or you want it on a t-shirt that you're wearing, or again, just call it to yourself. Just remember and ask for the essence of that animal or that flower to be with you, and it will be.
I love that.
So the Kuan Yin oracle for this month is actually, here we are for the first month, and it's the first oracle card, number 1, which is feeling inside the distance of power. You complete the gesture needed for insight, joy. And here we are at the end of our time for the tabletop, but that's a good place to end.
Yeah.
Is with joy for the month and for the year.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Rob.
thank
Happy
you
New
for
Year,
joining
everybody.
us.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and we will
Talk to you
talk
again
to you in
in
February.
February.
Okay, bye for now.